Okay. Hi, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Erin O'Brien. I'm a Thermomix consultant and team leader based in Druin, Victoria. And tonight I am cooking with some of my amazing girls that also live in Victoria. We tonight are bringing you a virtual launch of our brand new everyday Thermomix Everyday magazine, which was launched and hit shelves all around Australia and New Zealand today, which is very exciting. Pop in the chat box and let me know, did anyone grab themselves a copy already? I know as consultants, we have been lucky enough to earn a copy. So we have been cooking some of these amazing recipes and enjoying the magazine for a couple of weeks now, which is very exciting. So tonight we just thought we would have a fun virtual that showcased a few of the incredible recipes that you will find in the magazine. We've got a couple of prizes to give away as we're going. So we would love you guys interacting in the chat box and having a bit of a chat with us as we're cooking. What else was I going to say? I'd love you to pop in the chat box and let me know where you are watching from tonight. And maybe if you've got a Thermomix, what model do you have? Pop in the chat box and let us know. So we're going to get started straight away. I apologise for being a couple of minutes late. I was very optimistic in starting this virtual a bit earlier than we normally would, but we all have young children, so we were running a little bit later than we expected. But anyway, we're here now and we're going to get cooking so we don't keep us on too late. And I'm going to head straight over to Ina, who's going to introduce herself. Oh, no, sorry. Jess, who's going to introduce herself and get us cooking for tonight.
Hi everyone, I'm Jess. I am Thermi Life on the Farm and I'm based in Caniva. So yes, as Erin said, I've got my copy of the magazine here. I was very lucky enough to have already had this, so I've already had a flick through and it is amazing. The recipe I am going to cook tonight is actually on in the easy dinners section. So it's called San Beiji. And as you'll see, this magazine has recipes for all models of the Thermomix. But the one I'm making is actually specific to the TM6. So it does use the high heat mode. As you know about the high heat mode, you can't actually access high heat mode unless it's in a recipe. So lucky for me today, this recipe was actually uploaded onto CookieDoo. So if you've been on CookieDoo today, you'll see that there's a selection of the new recipes from the magazine that have been uploaded, which is very exciting. And this is one of them. So I'm just going to go to my week here into the meal planning part. And I've already chosen the recipe there. So as you can see here, like with everything with guided cooking, I can scroll down and I can have a look at all the recipe and all the ingredients that I need. But for today, I'm semi-organized. I'm just going to press start cooking. So first step is to place a bowl onto the mixing bowl lid. So what this is doing is using the Thermomix scales to measure into another bowl. Press next, and we're going to put in 400 grams of chicken wings. So I've just got them here. So it's probably a bit hard to see, but I'm just going to use the scales and weigh straight into the bowl and put in the 400 grams. As you can probably hear, I'm one of the ones that didn't have the young children who like the bed on time. So he's helping with me tonight. So then I'm going to press next and just season with some salt and pepper. So I'll do that in a minute. And then it just says to set it aside for approximately 10 minutes. So we'll go next. And we're adding in 4 garlic cloves. So I like to measure garlic with my heart and I just put in as many as I feel like. So I think I'm going to put in 5 tonight. Press next. And then it's got 3 centimeters of fresh ginger, peeled and sliced. So I just had a bit of a guess of my ginger. I sliced it up fairly roughly and we'll throw that in. Now it's time for 1 to 2 diced long red chilies. Now I would love to put chili in there, but I'm hoping to actually eat this with my kids tomorrow night and they will not appreciate the chili. So I'll leave it out at this step, but I'll actually be putting chili oil in mine tomorrow when I eat it. So with guided cooking, it's not going to, it's going to let me go on with skipping that step. It doesn't really matter. So now I'm going to go on and do the 20 grams of sesame oil. Pop that in, go next. And we're going to pop the lid on. And we're just going to do 3 seconds on speed 7. All done there. And I'll just show you there. So it's all nicely chopped up, our garlic and ginger, and it smells delicious. There's a couple of bits in there that didn't really chop up that well. So what I might actually do is just quickly go back and do it again. So if you're ever worried that you need to chop something up a little bit more, or it didn't chop it up enough, just go back. All right, so that's better. Just scrape a lot down. And then, so now it's just asking without the measuring cup. We're just going to cook that for 3 minutes, just fry that off a little bit. So is anyone, oh, sorry, he's making so much noise. Is anyone using the high heat mode at the moment in their Thermomix? What have you made using high heat?
Yes, while that's cooking along there for that 3 minutes, we might just head over to Emma briefly and she can
Go
start
for it.
her recipe. We'll come back in a minute.
Hello, everyone. My name's Ema and I'm Red Dirt Road Life on Instagram. Tonight I'm going to make a couple of things, but the first thing I'm going to make are classic madeleines. The Thermomix magazine has a lovely section with a tour de France, and it's got lots of like nice pastries and things in it. So I'm going to make the classic madeleines, which is, it's actually a different madeleine recipe than the ones that are currently on Cookie Do. And it actually has some different tips in there too, like putting your tin in the freezer instead of the fridge to get a crispier outside. So I like that it has some like updated and new tips. So it's not on my Cookie Do as yet as a recipe, but I've actually been cheeky and I created a recipe today for both my recipes. So I've gone into my computer and typed it all up from the manual recipe, and that means you can save like your family recipes and things like that, and you can put them all in your Cookie Do and go back to them later. So I'm going to start by first melting the butter. So start cooking. You can also put your own photo on there too, which is nice. So we place 120 grams of butter in, and this is going to melt the butter. Now, French cooking, there's a lot of butter in French cooking, so 120 grams isn't too bad. So we're going to melt it for 2 minutes at 100 degrees, speed 2. And yeah, we'll be melting it for a couple of minutes.
Perfect. Thanks, Emma. All right, while that's melting down, we'll go back to Jess again and she can continue on for us.
Yep, so I've just got about 40 seconds to go, and it's starting to smell delicious in here. So as I said, we're about to use the high heat mode, and the high heat mode is actually mimicking a fry pan. So that's where the Thermomix will go up to 160 degrees, which is much warmer, much hotter than the other older models. The TM5 only goes to 120 degrees, and the TM31, I think, was about 100 degrees. So that's why this is a TM6 specific recipe. So it's how we can get the browning on the meat and that sort of thing. So that's it done there. So that's just, all we've done is just brown that off. You can feel the steam coming off. Let's stir that around a little bit. All right, so now next step is adding the seasoned chicken. So I've just got the chicken in there with my salt and pepper on it, and I'm just going to pop that straight in. Now, because we're using the high heat mode, it's really important that you separate the meat around the blades. So I'll just make sure it's like sitting quite even around the blades like that. And now we need to put the splash guard on. I haven't got that out, but it'll just be over here. So this is another attachment that comes with the TM6. It's different. It doesn't come in with any other model. It's just purely for the high heat mode. It's so that all the steam can escape around these holes, but you can't actually access the bowl, which makes it a lot safer. So this will come up every single time, this warning to put the splash guard on. So we've got that on, and we're just going to turn it on to the high heat mode, and it's going to now cook away for 12 minutes. So you'll hear that the blades will are on now, and they're stirring, and then the blades stop, and the heat will come up, and this is how the meat will brown. It'll sizzle for a bit, and then to ensure that it doesn't burn, the blades will kick in again, and that'll keep going for about 12 minutes. So it's just trying to mimic you standing at the stove with a fry pan, and you stir it a little bit, then you let it sit, and then you stir it again so it doesn't burn.
Amazing.
So
thanks, Jess.
that's me for a bit. Go on to someone else.
Set your hands free to do whatever else you need to do, hey?
I am, definitely.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We'll come back when that high heat's finished then. We'll head back to Ema and see how she's going. Just need your screen back, please, Ema.
Oh, sorry. Flipped.
There you go.
Slipped. There we go. Yes, so I've melted the butter, and it actually has melted it down perfectly in that 2 minutes. So it hasn't over melted it either. Like if you do it in the microwave, sometimes it can slip. So you pop the butter into a little jug, and the reason I've got the pastry batch is the next step says that you actually grease your Madeleine tin, which I've already pre-done, and I've had it in the freezer for a few hours. So it's actually all ready to go. But yeah, usually, you know, while the Thermomix is doing other things, you can be doing this. So the next is to place the eggs and sugar into the bowl. So I need a clean bowl, but I've got one over here, which is handy to have the second bowl. And we add 2 eggs and 200 grams of caster sugar in. And our butterfly whisk as well goes in. So this is going to beat for 4 minutes on speed 4. And then it says, meanwhile, you can butter your tray. So that's what you can do in that amount of time. So yeah, 4 minutes speed 4, and we'll get that on.
Amazing. Thank you. All right, we will head on over to Charlotte, who will introduce herself and get cooking as well.
Hi everyone, I'm Charlotte. I'm Home Baker Mum on Facebook and Instagram. I'm based in Warragul, Gippsland area. Tonight, out of the magazine, I'm in the kids' favourite section, so a lot of lunchbox snacks and things like that. I'm going to be making the DIY pizza pockets. Yeah, I haven't actually made pizza pockets before, so I'm excited to try these. And I'm just going to be doing it manually because this recipe isn't on Cookie Do yet. So I'm just going to read as I go. So I'm just going to start with, it says place 220 grams of water in the bowl. So I'm just going to go over to my scales and just weigh the water into that. So 220 grams. Look. 230, but that's okay. And now it says to place sugar, which is a teaspoon of white sugar. So always remember to just pop it to the side of the bowl around the blades, not right in the center, especially at this first step. And then 2 teaspoons of yeast, and again just on the side around the blades. And now it's saying to heat it for 2 minutes at 37 degrees on speed 2. 37 degrees is an ideal temperature to activate that yeast. But I'm just going to go to the warm-up mode. This is what I do with all when I do breads, doughs, anything, and I'll just change that down to 37 degrees. And that'll just go by the weight in there and how long it takes. It shouldn't take that long because my water was a little bit warm. So it'll probably take a minute or so. I think it says 2 minutes if you've got like cold water straight from the fridge. It allows for that whole 2 minutes to come up to 37 degrees for that one.
That is very clever, Charlotte. I've never thought to use the kettle mode for
Yeah,
doughs.
so the kettle mode or the warm-up mode.
Yeah,
you can put it on 37 for both.
Yeah, perfect. That's very clever. Takes the guesswork out of it, guys, and obviously then you don't have to have it for that full 2 minutes or anything.
Yeah, that's
So
lukewarm water. So
Yeah.
any recipe that says lukewarm water, it's 37 degrees.
Perfect. So as the girls have mentioned tonight, the magazine, just let me know when you're done there, Charlotte. Just talk over you for a minute. The magazine does have a couple of really great features through it. So it is our batch cooking issue. So there is lots of kind of, I suppose, cook once, eat twice recipes, which I'm going to show you one of those tonight. So you kind of cook the base of a meal, and then it shows you a few different ideas of how you can then enjoy that meal. And also freezer-friendly options as well. So, you know, you're not having the same type of meal 3 or 4 nights for that week, but a really great way to kind of save yourself time and energy and all of those different things. Lots of, different freezer-friendly family meals, lots of comfort food as we're heading into winter, immunity-boosting recipes and all kinds of goodies. Sounds like Charlotte is done there, so we will head back.
All right, so I basically stopped it when I seen there's an active temperature here. So it's got 37 degrees. You probably can't see it on there just above. So it's at 37 degrees. So I'm just going to go on to the next step, which is add the flour, oil, and salt. So again, I'm just going to swipe left and go into my scales again. So it's 400 grams of baker's flour. Has anyone else made pizza pockets? And this, that's probably a bit too much, 401. All right, and now we're going to add some oil, which is 30 grams of oil. So I'm just going to tear that back to 0. 30 grams of oil in. And then a teaspoon of sea salt. Put the lid on, and then it says to use the dough mode for 2 minutes. So I'm just going to hit the cross and go over to the dough, the kneading mode, and add 2 minutes to that. And then that's just going to knead for 2 minutes. So 2 minutes in the Thermomix is equivalent to 20 minutes kneading by hand. So it's going to be a pretty soft dough.
Amazing, thank you. All right, we'll come back when your dough's finished, and we'll get Emma to finish off her recipe first. Thank you.
There you go. And yeah, so it has been 4 minutes whipping with the butterfly whisk, and now it's like a white batter. So we'll take the butterfly whisk out now. Have to say the whisk in this, everything comes out lighter than air, like when you're doing egg whites or pab or anything like that. So we've got this lovely like batter, and then all the good stuff's going to go into it. So we're adding vanilla, lemon zest, a little bit of milk and oil. So the oil is very minimum because there's a lot of butter in it. There's only 10 ml of oil. So we'll use our weighing scale. I'll just put a capful in because I like lots of vanilla. I don't know about everybody else, but I love lots and lots of vanilla in there. We've got lemon zest in here. And then it's just 10 ml of oil. And then we mix it 10 seconds speed 4. Then after this, we're going to add our flour, baking powder, and a little bit of salt. And then we'll give it another little mix again. Because it's been whipped up, we're only giving it a little bit of a mix now, just to combine it. So we'll add 120 grams of flour. And this is like really easy, quick to bake too. So it's really good that you can actually like think about dessert like a half an hour before dinner, and you could whip these up. Although it does say you have to rest the batter, or you can do it like earlier in the day and rest the batter. And I've actually made it without resting the batter and it's been fine. But resting it does give it a thicker, kind of fluffier. But if you're in a pinch and you really want to make them, it is possible. And a pinch of sea salt. And then it's 15 seconds speed 3. So again, you're only really just combining it again. Break down the sides. It's going to get very custardy now, and then we'll be letting it rest. So the next thing we're adding in is the butter. And it's 15 seconds speed 3 as well. Now the butter's cooled right down now, so it's been sitting there this whole time cooling. So it should gel really well with the batter. And now, so we've got this, it's like a lovely custardy yellow thick batter, but it's going to get thicker because we're going to refrigerate it for 2 to 4 hours. So I'll just, you can put it into another container and it can thicken up. And I've actually had one since lunchtime in the fridge, and it's really nice and thick. And a lot of these French recipes, like this is so thick, look at it. I don't know if you can see, but it's like super thick and gluggy. So thick it like it won't come off the spoon nearly. So we preheat the oven to 200 degrees, and then we use, this is the Madeleine tray from the mix shop. For this, you pop it in the freezer for a couple of hours, or you can have it in the fridge all day if you can't fit it in your freezer. And what it does is, because it's cold and it's going into the hot oven, it's going to have a crispy outside, which gives it that crisp on the outside and fluffiness on the inside. So I'm just going to spoon into the Madeleine trays about, I've kind of worked out that it's about a soup spoon in each one because I make them a lot. There's some lovely different flavors on cookie dough. There's like a lemon drizzle one. There's rose water one. And now I like that they've got this classic one, which is vanilla, but you could add almond essence or a different flavor to it as well. Peppermint essence. There's also Jaffa Madeleines on cookie dough as well. And the great thing is you can actually make a couple of trays of these, not just one tray. You can actually go for, see, I've actually filled the tray and there's still about half of it left. So we're going to put this in at 200 degrees. And you bake it for 5 minutes at the 200, and then you bake it for an additional 3 minutes at 160. You turn it down to 160, and then another 3 minutes, and then you pop it on a rack to cool. So we'll see them when they come out of the oven.
Amazing. Thanks, Emma. I can't wait to see them cooked. They sound delicious. All right, we're going to head back to Charlotte, whose dough will be finished, and then she'll pop her filling on to cook for us.
All right, so my dough finished in 2 minutes. So it's quite soft and stretchy. So it'll take you a long time to do that by hand. So I'm just going to tip that out onto my mat. These are the the Thermomix. I had a blank then. Just going to tip that out. It's quite not really a sticky dough. If you do have a sticky dough, you can wiggle the bottom as well. That sort of helps release the dough from the blades. So that's, pretty good. Now it just says to wrap this up and roll into a ball and place in a bowl, cover and leave to prove until doubled in size. So always go by the size of it, not by the time the recipe says, because everyone's house temperatures are different. And then it says clean and dry mixing bowl. But before I do that, I'm just I read along forward to the tips, and it says grate your cheese in Thermomix, cut cheese into 3 centimetre pieces and grate 5 seconds on speed 5. So I'm just going to do that because it doesn't matter if there's a bit of dough through the cheese because we're going to cook it anyway in the dough. So I've just gone through and I've seen that it's 60 grams of mozzarella and 50 grams of cheddar. I didn't have any mozzarella, so I'm just using cheddar. And now I'm just going to go to my main screen. So you can just use what you have. You don't have to go get every single ingredient. So 5 seconds, speed 5. But if you have mozzarella, definitely use it. Or whatever cheese you have. So that's it there. There's a few chunky bits in there, but we can go back and do that even more if you wanted to. But I'll do that a bit later. I'll get the sauce cooking now. So I've just got my second bowl here. Move that back up again. So just my second bowl. So it says to clean and dry the mixing bowl. Preheat the oven to 200 degrees. And now we're going to put oil, vegetables, and garlic. So it does have some hidden vegetables in this recipe as well. So it says 20 grams of olive oil. So I've just gone back into the scales. And I feel 20 grams is a lot of oil, so I'm just going to go with 10. And then it says 150 grams of vegetables. So it says examples: zucchini, carrot, capsicum, onion, spinach, and have it all quartered. So I've just got a bit of spinach. If I just tear that back to 0, if you want about 150 grams. So I've got some spinach, some capsicum, carrot, onion, and I've got 2 garlic cloves in there as well, because it says to add the garlic cloves. Oh, it's very hard reading manually when you're so used to cookie dough. I just love it on the screen. Let's chop it 3 seconds, speed 7. So we're just going to go back to that main screen. Push the little home button. So 3 seconds, speed 7. And now it's saying to scrape down the sides of mixing bowl and then cook it for 6 minutes. So that's it there, all nice and chopped. So it's going to be pretty fine if you've got fussy eaters that don't like the chunks. So scrape down the sides and we're just going to cook it for 6 minutes, 120 degrees on speed 2. And then I'll come back and add some more things. 6 minutes, and then you go over to the middle one, which is your temperature, 120 degrees and speed 2. Now it does say to use a simmering basket instead of the measuring cup, just to protect against any splatter. So I'll grab that out and put that on the top.
Amazing. Thank you. That was easy, wasn't it? All right. We'll head back to Jess and see how her dinner is coming along.
All right, so the chicken has cooked now, so you can see it's a bit hard to see, but it has browned off in there. And we've got like a real nice, the ginger and garlic is all cooked up nice as well. So we will go on. And it says add 40 grams of Chinese cooking wine. So we will pop that in. Always remember when you're putting liquids in to just go a little bit slower. The scales are a bit slower to react. Then we need dark soy sauce. And look, I'll be honest, I didn't know if there was really a difference between them. So today I went out and bought some dark soy sauce. Sorry, my 1-year-old pulling the wrist while I'm trying to do this. We'll put in 30 grams of that. But I did learn that a dark soy sauce is thicker and less salty than a light soy sauce. So you need 60 grams of light soy sauce as well. So we'll pop in that. So yes, you learn something new every day. I didn't realize there was differences to soy sauce. Okay. And then it says 25 grams of rock sugar broken into pieces, but you also can just use white sugar. So I just have white sugar at home, so I'm just going to put in some white sugar. There we go. And now we are going to pop on the lid without the measuring cup. And it's just going to cook for 5 minutes, just on the stirring mode. So we're not chopping anything. We're just purely, the blades are just slowly going around on the slowest speed, and it's just going to stir it as it goes.
Awesome. Thanks, Jess.
No,
not much hands-on time in that recipe at all, is there?
No, I'm doing a lot of just waiting and watching.
Yeah. I'm sure that's not what you're normally doing. All right. Well, while that is cooking along and Charlotte's sauce is cooking as well, I'm going to get us started with making some ricotta gnocchi. Has anyone made gnocchi before in their Thermomix? Pop it in the chat box and let me know. Or do you just enjoy eating it like all of us? So this recipe, I'm sure you'll be pleasantly surprised, is super, super easy and not as time consuming as what you might think as well. I know I'm very guilty of thinking that, of putting off making something like gnocchi because I thought that it would be super time consuming. So I will show you exactly how to do it. So into the bowl to start with, much like the others, I am using a manual recipe because it's just in the magazine. Yeah, no, not hard at all. So we're going to put 160 grams of Parmesan. I've got 2 bowls of Parmesan. I don't know which one's which here. I measured it out. Anybody else made gnocchi? Or you're watching along to see if it's something you might think about making? Okay, so 160 grams of Parmesan, popping the lid on there. And then we're going to give it 10 seconds on speed 9. This is going to be really loud, so Zoom will mute me out for a minute. So I'll see you in 10 seconds. All right, so that has grated up that parmesan for us. You can see that, and it's just a really fine grate there. So I'm just going to open the scales back up again, and into there now we are going to place 800 grams of ricotta. So I've just got 2 tubs. I have to admit, last time I made this recipe, I did make the ricotta as well, which you can do. There's a cookie dough recipe to show you how to make ricotta. This time I didn't have time, so I just did buy some, cheated. But they'll both work just fine. So I made ricotta before. In the chat box and let me know. It's super, super easy. All you just need is milk, some full cream milk, and a bit of vinegar. So definitely something that you can do with this recipe, and might be a good one if you've got some milk going out of date or something like that. Good recipe to use up what you have. So 2 tubs. It is going to be a little bit under the 800, but that's okay. I might just put in a little bit less flour. Yeah, if you want to save yourself a little bit of money with this recipe, definitely a great option to use that cookie dough recipe and make your own ricotta as well. All right. So now we're going to pop the lid back on again. And this time we are going to do 20 seconds on speed 7. I think it will get me out again here. So that has combined all of the 2 cheeses there. It combines them all up. I'm just going to give that a little stretch out. It doesn't say to, but there's a little bit of parmesan on the edge, so I'm just going to do that. And then into there now we are going to add about 400 grams of, it's called double O pasta flour. So I know a few people have made this with just standard plain flour or bread flour, which you can do, but I haven't made them both to compare, to be very honest, but apparently you do get a much better result and a much nicer gnocchi if you do use the pasta flour. So 400 grams, so like I said, I might just do a little bit less because we did have a little bit less gnocchi. I don't want it to be too dry. And then a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And 2 pinches of ground nutmeg. So just give that a little shake. Popping the lid back on again. Hard to swipe when you're upside down. I don't know which way to go. Combining that on 5 seconds on speed 4. And then we are just going to knead it for 1 minute. So I'll show you how that's combined. I can't really show you, it hasn't combined at all, so I don't want to do that too far. So now we'll just pop it on the kneading mode for 1 minute. Oops. Charlotte, has your filling finished there, or do you need a few more minutes?
Yep, so I sauteed the veggies and now I've just got to put the sauce in and blend that up. You want me to do that?
Yes, I'll come back to you, hang on.
All right, so the vegetables are all sauteed. It smells delicious. And now the next step is, it says 100 grams of tomato paste. Now, I find tomato paste is really, really strong, and my kids don't really like it when I use all tomato paste. So I've mixed half barbecue sauce and half tomato paste, and it just says add 100 grams. Oops, not the dough scales. I'm just going to put that in, so my tomato paste and barbecue sauce. And then it says a teaspoon of oregano. So I'm just wing it sort of measure the herbs. And then we're just going to blend that up. And it says for, where are we, 5 seconds on speed 8. So go back to your home button. So we're going to go 5 seconds and over to the speed on 8. So that's it there. So now it just says to pop into a bowl to cool down slightly. And then we'll go on to our dough bit. Assembling it. So that's it there. It smells delicious. Just like a pizza sauce. Do you want me to keep going, Erin, or is yours ready?
No, you keep going, please, so you can get one in the oven for us. If you can roll out 1 or 2, that'd be great.
So I did make some dough earlier and let it proof. So this one has definitely doubled in size. So like I said, definitely go by the look of your dough, not by the time. I'll move my camera down. So that's doubled in size. So now it's saying, oh, sorry, it did say to add a tomato into the sauce as well, and I didn't have one, so I just left that bit out. Now, I'm just going to get all this out of the bowl. Just knock down the air, and now it says divide dough into 14 equal portions. It says approximately 45 grams each. So if you wanted to, you can maybe pop a bowl on the top of your Thermomix and weigh out each individual portion. You can bring up the scales and do it that way. But I'm just going to sort of eyeball it. And I've got my spatula, my dough spatula, and my Thermomat, because you don't use knives on these mats. They are made out of fiberglass. And once you cut them, or cut into them, you have to throw them in the bin. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What have I done? This is what I normally do with my bread rolls too, just eyeball them. So they're roughly the same size. And then it says, so you can weigh them if you want to, then roll each out to a 10 centimetre round. So on these mats here, they do have measurements. I don't know if you can see that there. It does have numbers on there as well. I'm just going to roll it into a little bit of a ball. I'm just going to press it out. And grab my rolling pin. So about 10 centimetres. Doesn't seem that big. I'm going to go 12. Just seems too thick to me. All right, so 12 centimetres. And then it says, leaving a 3 centimetre border, spread 1.5 teaspoons of tomato mixture onto each round, top with cheese and ham, and then gently do that bit first. I'm just going to pop a teaspoon and a bit on. Spread that around. And I've just got some shredded ham here. I'm going to pop some of that on. And then some cheese, which is still in my bowl. Little chunks of that one. And then it just says to gently lift the sides of the dough and pinch edges together to seal. Place seam side down onto lined baking tray and brush with oil. Right, so I'm just going to pick up the edges and then fold the corners in again. And then I might just give it a little roll like I do with bread rolls, just to help seal it. And that's it. I'll pop it onto a tray. I suppose you could do any fillings you wanted to do. And I'll just brush it with some oil and pop them in the oven for, 10 minutes? 10 to 15 minutes, and then leave to cool. You can store these in the freezer as well. So it says
Awesome.
fridge for up to 3 days or freeze for 3 months. And so you can pre-make the dough and then pop it in the fridge for up to 3 days and then bring it out when you're ready to make the whole batch.
Amazing. Thanks, Charlotte. They were super easy too, weren't they? They're
Very
a
easy.
great little lunchbox filler. I think my kids would absolutely love them.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Well, we will come back when they are cooked and check them out. All right, so my gnocchi is all needed. So it doesn't come together fully in the bowl. Don't kind of freak out at that when you do pull it out. It's still a bit crumbly. So we're just going to tip it out onto a lightly floured bread mat. And then we're just going to work it into a ball. So just kind of work it a little bit to a nice ball. And then we are going to just, and this is more just for ease of making it, you're going to split it into 4. So again, using our little bowl scraper dough cutter thing that Charlotte was, just cutting that into 4. And then all you need to do next, just going to pop a little bit more flour down, is kind of roll it out into a log. So I just start it in my hand and then just work it back and forth. I'm actually just going to halve that again just for us tonight. So you want to just kind of make it into a nice narrow cylinder. So this recipe does make quite a lot of gnocchi, and obviously depending on the size of your family, it might be something that you'll eat all at once, or you might kind of use as a couple of different meals. So this is one of those kind of batch cooking recipes I was talking about. You make the gnocchi, and then there are 3 different ways to, 3 different variations that you can use to eat the gnocchi in the recipe book. So tonight we are going to make a walnut and spinach pesto. There's a nice like tomato-based sauce, and then I don't know if you've seen it on social media, but there is a beautiful pumpkin puree as well with a butter and sage. Melted butter with sage as well, which is absolutely delicious. So then you're just going to use your dough scraper and cut it into about 2 centimetre pieces, and that is it. You can use one of those little fancy little boards. You can get them, the butter boards from the milk mix shop work perfectly to kind of roll them over and give them that little groove that will hold some extra sauce if you want to. But otherwise, that is it. So after you've made your gnocchi, you do just need to kind of, I suppose, think ahead, prepare ahead a little bit, because it does need to go into the freezer for about 3 hours just to firm up nicely before you cook it. So yeah, I just pop it in a container, put a layer of baking paper in between layers, and pop it in the freezer. So they're in a little beautiful little gnocchi pillows. And then I did have some already made, which I'll show you in a second. But let's move my mess out of the way and we'll make our sauce. Just put those in my container. Got too much floury mess here. But you can see that was what, an 1/8 of it there. So that's probably a serving in itself nearly. So it does make quite a bit of gnocchi. What do you think? Was the actual gnocchi easier than what you thought, or harder, or about what you were expecting? Put in the chat box and let me know. Right, to bring my Thermomix back. My hands a bit quiet there. So when you do pop them in the freezer, yeah, like I said, you want to freeze them for about 3 hours so they're nice and firm. But otherwise, if you're not using it, or you can freeze it for up to 3 months as well. So perfect, yeah, if you're not going to use it all at once, or you're having a kind of a meal prep day and you want to get yourself organised. So next we are going to make a walnut and spinach pesto to go with that, which is super, super easy and again, very delicious. So we're going to put in 80 grams of Parmesan. Got lids and stuff flying everywhere here. Popping the lid back on again, and we have 15 seconds on speed 10. Anyone else love a pesto? Sounds a little bit different, not your kind of standard basil pesto, but it's still delicious all the same. So that has grated up very similarly to what it grated up before. And into there now we are going to put just the remaining ingredients. I'll swipe back over to the scales. I'm going to put in 30 grams of walnuts. 1 clove of garlic. It does say the clove of garlic is optional, so if you wanted to leave that out, you can. If you find that fresh garlic in a pesto is too strong, that's okay. And then 80 grams of baby spinach. $150 grams of olive oil. And then 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then we're going to blend that up for 20 seconds on speed 7. Yep, that's done properly. And that is it. That is our pesto done. So again, you can serve this with your dinner. You could pan fry your gnocchi off first if you wanted to, and then toss it in your pesto. You can store your pesto, what does it say, in the fridge for a month, or freeze it up to 3 months as well. You just want to pop a bit of olive oil on the top of it for that. But otherwise, smells amazing. And have a think about midweek meals. This is something that could be super easy. Obviously, you're going to make your gnocchi ahead when you've got time on the weekend or another day or evening, and then all you have to do is whip that cook your gnocchi, which is a few minutes, and then whip up your pesto. It's a really, really quick and easy meal. All right, what we might do is we'll quickly pop back to Jess because I think she's got one little step left in hers, and then we're going to come back, make a quick dessert, a broccoli salad, and then we're going to be all done.
Okay, so I kind of cheated and I went ahead with that step while no one was here. The step was just to add some basil and then to cook it for another minute. And so all the frosts we've had of late have really touched up my basil plant. So I just used some dry basil because that's just nice and simple to use. So mine's actually done. I have my dish made.
Oh, that looks amazing.
And it smells delicious.
Looks so good.
Yeah,
all right, so we won't come back to you then. Thank you.
You don't need to come back to me. I've just been standing here doing nothing. Dinner's made.
Oh, lovely. I bet it smells amazing.
It does, actually.
All right. Well, we'll come back to me then again. And I'm going to make a really delicious apple frangipani tart for you now. This is one that I suppose it might take a little bit longer if you make it yourself, but I have pre-made one in the oven, which will speed things up for you us tonight. So it starts off by making a puff pastry. And again, this is something I suppose a little bit like the gnocchi that I think a lot of people put off because I think it might be harder than what they expect. So there's my flour. So all we need to add in, swiping the wrong way, not doing a very good job upside down, no, is 120 grams of plain flour. Is anyone making puff pastry? I have to admit, I put it off for a very long time, much longer than I would like to admit, to be honest. 100 grams of butter. Actually, put that up again quickly. Was something that I, again, assumed was going to be much, much harder than what it actually is. And so just avoided it. 100, so 100 grams of butter. And I think, again, you'll be pleasantly surprised at how easy and quick puff pastry can be. So this is what we call a cheap puff pastry. And you'll see why in a minute. So 100 grams of butter, 2 pinches of salt, a teaspoon of lemon juice, which I've left in the fridge, sorry. Not a very good measurer, guys. I kind of just throw it all in. And then 50 grams of chilled water. All right, so we're going to pop the lid on. I'm very lucky to have had the opportunity to earn a couple of Thermomixes and plenty of second bowls in my couple of years as a consultant, which is so handy for these virtuals, but it also means I have got mess everywhere. I've got bowls, lids, and things flying everywhere over here. So now we are just going to knead that for about 20 seconds on the dough mode. So I actually made, like I said, a batch of this earlier, and I just found it needed a little bit longer, so I'm going to put 30 seconds on it instead. Didn't quite come together enough. Just grabbing my bread mat, my other one. Sorry, my kitchen's not big enough tonight. So once that is done, you are going to tip that out onto another lightly floured mat. So this is the one that I've been making the pre-made one on. So again, just pop a bit of flour down because it's got all that butter in it. It will stick a little bit if you don't. So again, this is much the same in that it won't have fully come together into a ball. So you're just going to finish that on the mat. So just give your blades a little twist and that will loosen off that dough for you. And then you're going to work that into a bit of a rectangle this time. Okay, so when you've done that, make sure you've still got plenty of flour there. You are going to roll it out to about 20 centimetres by 60 centimetres. So again, like Charlotte said before, these bread mats are perfect because they are going to tell you exactly what to do. So 60 centimetres is actually about the length of the bread mat. So that makes it nice and easy for us. So we just want to, like I said, very sticky. Make sure you have flour at your board and your rolling pin and everything. Otherwise you'll end up with a bit of a mess. All right, and then to create the layers in this puff pastry, which gives it that beautiful kind of flakiness that we all love in our delicious puff pastry, we're going to fold it instead. So what we're going to do is fold down from the top. I can't quite see the top of my thing, about 10 centimetres, and then fold again. Fold over that. Put it down and then fold again. A little bit there. So just keep repeating that over and over again. And that's going to help create those beautiful flaky pastry layers. So you want to get about 5 folds in there. And that's it. So then you're going to pop that in the fridge. Oh, sorry, 6 folds. So wrap it probably in the fridge for about 30 minutes or until chilled. So I will do that. And then we will keep going with the filling. I'm going to wash my hands very quickly. So okay, so the next step in our frangipani, apple frangipani tart is the frangipani filling, which is absolutely delicious. So I'm just going to swipe back across to my scales again. And this time we are going to put some almonds. Oh, yeah, there. So it says 50 grams of blanched almonds. I just use non-blanched because that's what I've got. And it's really just colour. I don't think it makes a huge difference, or not enough for me to go and buy blanched almonds to the flavour. And then we are going to put in 40 grams of caster sugar. And then we're going to pop the lid on and mill those for 5 seconds on speed 9. I'm really struggling with swiping the wrong way tonight, aren't I? All right, so we're going to put the rest of our ingredients in there, which is 50 grams of butter. Again, I forgot to turn it on. Have I made anything like this before? Beautiful, like decadent and wintry desserts. Perfect. Another thing that this magazine focuses on this year is seasonal produce as well. So you're about to see as well from Ema a broccoli salad and obviously the apples. Really just really just focusing on recipes that are in season with main ingredients that are in season to obviously then you're going to get maximum flavour, but you're also going to save money as well. So a little bit of vanilla, some ground cinnamon. So about 2 pinches of ground cinnamon. I love cinnamon, so I'm just going to add a little bit extra as well. And that is it. Then you are going to combine that. Oh, sorry, I did miss the almond extract. We've gone off the wrong one here. And extract. 15 grams of plain flour. Nearly missed half of it. Too busy talking. Quarter of a teaspoon of baking powder. The almond extract and an egg. So then we are going to combine that for 10 seconds on speed 4. All right, so that is our frangipani filling. Which you'll be able to see is just kind of like a bit of a paste almost. Smells amazing with the almonds and everything in there. So then the next step is to make a quick little sugary topping for it, and then Assemble. So what I'm going to do, I've used all of my bowls. I'm going to flick over to Ema, who's going to make us a really quick broccoli salad. Then we'll come back, finish this, assemble it, and then we're all done. So we've probably got another 10 minutes maximum, guys. If you are happy to stay along.
Thanks, Erin. It looks really easy. Makes me want to try it. So I'm making a broccoli and speck salad. Now, I got really excited when I saw this inside the magazine because I love speck. If you don't know what speck is, it's a Italian cured meat. You can chop them up into little lardons or cubes, and all of the good fat comes out of them, and then you can toast things, which is what you are basically doing with this salad. This is a picture of it here, just so you know. Ooh, looks fancy. But yes, it's I was really excited because I love speck, and so this is like a real kind of porky, bacony, broccoli, really rich kind of salad, but it's got lovely flavors in it. It's immune boosting and really nice for winter, and it's something different. It's a bit creamy too, which is nice. So we start cooking it. It's not in cookie dough, but I've popped it in my created recipes again. So to begin with, it tells you to chop the speck into lardons and to fry it to let all the oils out. And it's not super oily, actually. It's quite a nice, it's quite a, oh my gosh, it's so bacony when I just took that off. But what you do is you fry the bacon and then you toast the nuts that are in the recipe. So there's 50 grams of cashews and 2 tablespoons of sunflower seeds. So I toasted them last. Once the speck was cooked, I added in the nuts and toasted them, and it kind of drove my dog crazy, but the kitchen smelled amazing. So I've got that part already done. And then it's the great thing about salads are you just kind of put everything together and it whizzes up in a few seconds. So really the hardest part is putting the ingredients in, and there's lots of great salads on Cookie Dough as well. So the first thing to do is place parsley, celery, and onion into the bowl. So I've got it's in season, like lovely parsley growing in my garden is going in, and celery, which is also growing in the garden, which is awesome, and onion. So we're using Spanish red onion because that's a bit nicer. And then we're chopping that for 3 seconds speed thick. That kind of onion's nice and light for salads. Giving that a bit of a chop up. And really the next part is that we're going, that's finely chopped. So the next thing to add is broccoli. So it's about 400 grams of broccoli going in. I love broccoli salads. I love broccoli as a raw salad. It's really nice, especially if it's dressed really well, which a lot of them are on Cookie Dough. So we've got 80 grams of mayonnaise goes in. Realize it's a fresh mayonnaise because my kids go through it. During the summer, I would make my own mayonnaise, but because my chickens aren't laying that well, I'm resorting to store-bought. And you can put a vegan mayonnaise in there, a gluten-free mayonnaise as well. And then we do 80 grams of natural yogurt. So really this makes it really nice and light. And we pop 2 teaspoons of whole grain mustard in. You could use another mustard if you don't like whole grain, or you don't want the bits in it. So if you're doing it for kids or something like that, you can pop Dijon mustard in or English mustard. And so we've got 3 pinches of salt as well. And we pop pepper in. It says 3 pinches, so. And that's it. And then we go 8 seconds, reverse speed 4. So you can repeat the step if it doesn't chop completely, and you can also use your spatula to just help it turn around a little bit while we do it. They can have a look at it. I like my broccoli chopped fairly small. I don't want there to be any big bits in it, so I'm going to probably do it a second time. And that just means everything gets mixed up really well in it as well. Now, so this is what it's looking like. It's looking really good. Now what we do is we actually stir in half of the that mixture that we had fried, and we're going to keep the other half for the top. It smells so good, and it's really tasty, and it lasts for quite a few days in the fridge as well. Like you can eat it like over 2 or 3 or 4 days for lunches, for work lunches. It's ideal as well, bringing to lunch, bringing to the office. And then we're going to serve it up. Can over here. See, it makes a really big serving. You can feed a lot of people with that. This is a great dish that you could bring over to someone's house for dinner if you're having dinner parties. And we're not finished yet. So the next thing that we'll actually do is we pop that topping on top. But we're also going to grab some Danish feta, and that's going to go on top as well. So I've got some, it's about 100 grams of Danish feta, so it's about half a pack. And you can just crumble it, pop it on top and stir it through as well. And how good is that for lunch boxes? Because you've got like that really nice kind of rich bacony, but also and yeah, so that one all cooked up. Well, not cooked up,
Amazing.
but chopped up. It's pretty nice.
That's delicious. Thanks, Ema. All right, we'll come back to you in a minute and check out your baked goods too. But I'll just quickly show everyone how to assemble this apple French panny tart. So I do have some puff pastry that has been chilling in the fridge already. this is half of the recipe. So as you'll see in a minute, I made some earlier. I made a small French panny tart and I left half to quickly show you guys how to assemble. So this will make a significantly larger one, or as well as this, you could make 2 smaller ones if you wanted to. So it's super easy to assemble. So you just want to roll it out into a bit of a circle. So the actual recipe when you're making the whole lot says, where am I with it? To about 24 centimetres. So if you're using your bread mat, like we have been tonight, that has the markers on it. I'm just using the oven mat now because I've used all of my bread mats. But as well, I'm not going to use the whole thing. Now it says to use about a 23 centimetre plate to score a circle. So I'm just going to use one of a small side plate today because again, this is the smaller recipe. Popping that down, I'm going to use my dough cutter just to run around the outside of that and give us a circle. So, I mean, you can use anything. It doesn't have to be exactly 23 centimetres. Just use what you've got. It's perfectly fine. So there is that. And then you are going to get your frangipani filling and you're going to spread that over it, leaving about a 1 centimetre border. It smells so good. Yeah, one was already baking, so I've just filled my kitchen with all kinds of delicious smells. All right, so you spread that out, leaving a little bit of a border, and then you are just going to arrange your sliced apples over the top. So the recipe uses Granny Smith apples, but we get a big box from our local orchard of usually Pink Lady. So that is what I am using. And you just want to just kind of place them around your tart, really. Make it a little bit pretty. I think the more the merrier, like the more well, not merrier, prettier, I should say. You'll see in a second that the one I made earlier, I probably could have added some more apples to it and they would have looked even better. So add all that on and then, so while Anna was cooking, I just made our little syrup because all that is a little bit of caster sugar, butter, some vanilla, a little bit of cinnamon, all cooked down to make a little syrup. So you can see that in there. And then you're just going to brush that on top of your apples. And on the outside, that little border of pastry as well that you left before. And that's it. That is your tart ready to pop in the oven. So then you are going to cook it for about 30 minutes at 200. So again, obviously this is a bit smaller, so I just keep an eye on it. I think the last one, it was nearly 30 minutes anyway. I pulled it out of that. And that's it. Then you can serve it warm with some ice cream, cream. Yeah, a beautiful, delicious dessert. I will show you. This is the one that I made earlier. So yeah, beautiful served warm with some cream or ice cream. A delicious wintry dessert. All right, so that is a dessert. This is my pesto gnocchi. So that walnut and spinach pesto with our ricotta gnocchi. The pesto made a huge amount too. So this is some gnocchi that I've had pre-made, and there is still quite a bit of pesto left over. So we have a little tablespoons of that mix through that. So again, something that makes quite a lot and that you can freeze or pop in the refrigerator for a day. So yeah, so that's our ricotta gnocchi with walnut and spinach pesto and our apple frangipani tart. And then we'll pop over to the other girls who have plated it up and will show us all their dishes and then we're done. So I'm just going to go to Jess first because that's what I see.
All right, so as I said, I can't remember what mine was called again. Mine was the San Beiji. So that recipe is actually on Cookie Do now. and it smells delicious. I've tried the sauce and it is amazing. Very authentic flavors. So I definitely recommend using the light soy, the dark soy, and the Chinese cooking wine. Don't skimp on it, but it's delicious. But yeah, very simple. It's been finished for ages. A nice, easy midweek meal.
Amazing. Thank you. And you've served it with some rice, have you?
Yeah, and I've just popped some rice underneath and served it with some rice. Yep.
Amazing. Thank you.
Easy.
Thanks so much for cooking with us. And Jess, like we said earlier, is Thermi Life on the Farm. That's correct, isn't it, Jess? On Facebook and Instagram. Right. So please follow her along. Thank you so much for cooking with us again tonight, Jess.
No worries.
We'll head over to Charlotte.
All right, so these are mine. So they don't brown up as much as you think, but they're definitely cooked. So that's Beautiful. In there, but this one sort of burst open a little bit, but I'll show you. Get my angle right. That's,
yeah.
Yeah, delicious.
The kids are going to love them. They're going to be a big hit.
Definitely. So very, very easy. Yum.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Charlotte. So Charlotte, for those of you who don't follow, is Home Baker Mum on Facebook and Instagram as well. So please give her a follow. And thank you so much for Charlotte for cooking along with us again tonight. We'll head back to Emma.
Thanks, Erin. So yeah, that was that lovely broccoli and speck salad. And here is the madeleines. So they did turn out a lot different to the other ones, as in they're very crunchy on the outside and soft in the middle. And the other madeleines that tend to be on Cookie Dough are very soft, fluffy ones. So it's kind of like a preference. Do you want a little bit of crunch or do you want soft? And you could have both. So these would be really nice with the coffee during, those really wintry days.
Okay. Do you think that extra crunch is because of the frozen tray, Emma?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was the tip that they put in the magazine as well, that if you want them crunchy, freeze the tray, don't put it in the fridge.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for cooking with us.
Now
your Instagram as well, I always get it wrong. Red
Dirt Road Life.
Thank you. Red Dirt Road Life. Thank you so much, Emma. All right, so that is us finished for tonight, guys. Over here. Thank you so much for watching and joining us tonight. So yes, we have launched our Thermomix Everyday Winter Edition. It is our batch cooking edition. There are so many freezer-friendly meals that also really showcase the seasonal produce that we have available at the moment as well. So there are also some really great weeknight recipes with a maximum of 10-minute hands-on time. And you will also find in there a sneaky 25% off Mix Shop discount code as well. So if you have your eyes on any goodies from the Mix Shop, make sure you pick up a magazine and grab yourself a 25% off discount for that as well. So again, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you all. We hope you've learned something new. We hope we've inspired you to maybe grab your copy of the magazine and get cooking with it. I'd love you to pop it in the chat box and let me know, what are you going to cook? What are you have got your eyes set on? Like Jess has said as well, we did see a small collection of magazine recipes go live on Cookie Dough as well today. So if you do have a Cookie Dough account, one of the new in the news section, you will find a Cookie Dough collection of all the TM6 specific recipes that are in the new magazine. So check that out as well. It might be a really great place to start with making some. Again, thank you so much for joining us. We do have a couple of prizes to sort out for tonight, but as we've run a bit over, I will organise all of those tonight and we'll announce them on our social media tomorrow. So please check out our social media and then I'll be in contact with you to organise getting it to you if you have been one of our winners. So thank you so much for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed it and we hope to see you at another one of our classes again soon. Thanks so much, everybody. Try the gnocchi. Definitely try it. You'll love it. Thank you, everyone.